In 1969, one company accounted for 1% of the entire United States economy. Not a bank, not an oil company, not a defense contractor, a retailer, a catalog, a store in every town in America. Sears, Roebuck and Company. 2/3 of American households shopped there every quarter. Half carried a Sears credit card. In 1974, the company finished its headquarters in Chicago. It was the tallest building on Earth, not the tallest office building. The tallest building on Earth. 19 years later, they discontinued the catalog. 35 years after that, 5 Sears stores remained open in the United States. 5. Down from 3,500 at the peak. This is how the greatest retail empire in American history destroyed itself. The beginning. August 1886. North Redwood, Minnesota. A 22-year-old railroad station agent named Richard Warren Sears is sitting on a problem. A Chicago jeweler has refused a shipment of gold pocket watches. The watches are sitting in the depot. Someone is going to lose money on them. Sears buys the shipment himself. He sells them to other station agents at a markup. Within 6 months, he has turned a $50 investment into enough profit to leave the railroad entirely. He moves to Chicago, hires a watchmaker named Alva Curtis Roebuck. By 1893, the two men have built Sears, Roebuck and Company, a mail-order firm built on one insight almost nobody else had seen. Rural Americans could not reach cities. Sears would reach them. By 1908, the catalog ran over 1,000 pages. Watches, furniture, guns, musical instruments. By 1910, you could order an entire house, pre-cut lumber, prefabricated walls, instructions included. Sears shipped more than 70,000 of them. By 1916, 50 million catalogs were mailed every year. In most rural homes, the Sears catalog and the Bible were the only 2 books in the house. Richard Sears understood something about trust that most businessmen never do. A customer who could not see the product before buying it needed a reason to believe the company would not rob them. So he made the promise absolute. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. No questions, no fine print, no time limit. The guarantee was not a marketing line. It was the business model. The peak. By the 1920s, Sears had outgrown mail order. Americans were moving to cities. The automobile was a household fixture. The rural route was running out. In 1925, Sears opened its first retail store in Chicago. Within 5 years, 300 stores. The catalog had built the company. The stores would make it permanent. Sears became the first retailer in American history to turn its own stores into a brand, not what it sold, who it was. Kenmore Appliances, contracted from Whirlpool and GE, backed by the Sears guarantee, priced below anything the competition could match, because Sears was buying at a volume no competitor could touch. Die-Hard batteries, introduced in 1967. A promotional stunt left cars sitting in freezing temperatures for weeks, and every single one started on demand. Craftsman Tools, a $500 trademark purchased in 1927, stamped onto steel that came with a lifetime warranty, so simple it required no paperwork. Walk into any Sears, hand over the broken tool, walk out with a new one. No receipt, no questions, no time limit. People went to estate sales and bought broken Craftsman tools for $1. They exchanged them at Sears for new ones worth $20. Sears ate the cost because the warranty was the reason people bought in the first place. By 1969, Sears employed 350,000 people and accounted for 1% of the entire U.S. economy. By 1974, The Sears Tower was the tallest building on Earth. Sears did not build it because it needed the office space. Sears built it because it had won the competition. In 1962, 3 discount chains opened their first stores: Walmart in Arkansas, Target in Minnesota, and Kmart in Michigan. Sears noticed none of them. For a decade, that was defensible. By the mid-1970s, it was not. Walmart had understood something Sears had not. Sears built stores in cities. Walmart built stores in the towns Sears had abandoned, towns where people still got the catalog, towns where people drove 40 minutes to shop. Walmart put a store there, priced below Sears, and used the profit to move closer. Sears tried to adapt. It shifted toward higher-end merchandise to attract wealthier shoppers. It worked briefly. Then interest rates hit 20% and inflation ran into double digits. The wealthier shoppers stopped spending. The middle market customers had already moved to Walmart. The company was caught between 2 markets and owned neither one. In 1991, Walmart passed Sears in annual revenue. The crown was gone. The unraveling. In 1992, Sears posted a loss of $3.9 billion. It was the largest single-year retail loss ever recorded in North America. In 1993, Sears discontinued the catalog. 107 years of continuous publication ended. 50,000 workers were dismissed in a single quarter. Inside a company bleeding out, Craftsman and Die Hard and Kenmore still worked. The brand still meant something. But a company losing billions cannot invest its way out on sentiment. Then, in 2004, a hedge fund manager named Edward Lampert acquired Kmart out of bankruptcy and engineered a merger with Sears. Lampert was not a retailer. He identified the same asset in both companies. Not the merchandise, not the guarantee. Real estate. The land under the stores was worth more than the stores. He was right about the assets. He was wrong about what a retail company needs to survive. The dismantling. Between 2005 and 2018, Sears Holdings sold itself off piece by piece. Land's End was spun off. Sears Auto Centers were sold. The Sears Tower itself was sold in 2009 and renamed the Willis Tower. The company that had built the tallest building in the world because it had won American retail did not own the building anymore. The stores deteriorated. Maintenance requests went unfilled for months. Lighting burned out and was not replaced. Workers were cut until a large Sears store might run an entire department on a single part-time employee. Customers stopped going, not because they decided to, because there was nothing to go back for. By 2010, Sears had posted its last profitable year. Between 2011 and 2016, the company lost $10.4 billion. In January 2017, facing a cash crisis, Sears did the one thing it had refused to do for 90 years. It sold Craftsman. Stanley Black & Decker paid $900 million for the brand that Arthur Barrows had registered in 1927 for $500. On a spreadsheet, the greatest brand appreciation in American retail history. In the room where the deal was signed, the confession of a company that had nothing else left to sell. 18 months later, on October 15, 2018, Sears Holdings filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Edward Lampert resigned the same day. 142 stores closed overnight. There was no recovery. The closing. In late 2024, fewer than a dozen Sears stores remained open in the United States. Kenmore is a licensed trademark on products the original company never touched. Die Hard is an advanced auto parts label. Craftsman is manufactured in Fort Worth. Real work, real investment. But the mechanics who left during the Sears years did not come back when the quality returned. Trust does not work that way. Somewhere in America tonight, in a garage on the edge of a town where the Sears closed in 2003, a man is reaching into a tool chest his father passed down to him. He is pulling out a wrench forged somewhere in the Midwest in 1973. The chrome is dull but unbroken. It still works. That wrench is the last piece of the company Sears built. Sears did not fail because the internet replaced the catalog. It did not fail because American consumers stopped wanting what it sold. It failed because the people who inherited it understood it as a collection of assets rather than a promise kept. Richard Sears made his first sale in 1886 on one principle: if you trust me enough to buy something you cannot see, I will make it worth the trust. For 100 years, that principle built the largest retail company in the history of the world. When the people who inherited it stopped believing in the principle, the company lasted another 30 years on the reputation alone. And when the reputation was gone, sold off piece by piece, closed store by store, there was nothing left underneath. That is how you lose a company built on trust, not in a bankruptcy court. One small decision at a time, across 30 years, until the name above the door means something different than it used to, and no one who remembers the difference is left inside the building.